Hi everyone. Welcome to Chronology. Today I will tell you the story of one of the most important events in the ancient world, the Trojan War. This epic has become a symbol of war and heroism for Greek and Roman cultures and is one of the most legendary events in our history with its mythological dimension. Thousands of years ago, this war took place on Anatolian lands due to an apple. The gods fought alongside humans, and it took place in an environment where love, heroism, betrayal, and revenge prevailed. However, a horse determined the fate of the event that changed the course of history. Homer's epic poems, which tell the story of the Trojan War, are still a common heritage of humanity and reflect the epic features of the epic with its artistic language. The poems are detailed in Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Iliad presents the last month of the war, which lasted for 10 years, with all its details. Odyssey portrays the journey of Greek commander Odysseus to his homeland of Ithaca after the fall of Troy. In the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, the goddess Eris, who was not invited, sends a golden apple to be given to the most beautiful goddess. However, a dispute arises among Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite over who should receive the apple. To resolve the situation, Zeus sends the goddesses to Paris and leaves the choice of the most beautiful goddess to him. Paris gives the golden apple to Aphrodite, who in return makes Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, fall in love with Paris. Thus, a dispute over an apple becomes the beginning of one of the greatest wars in history, and remains one of the most famous stories of mythology to this day. Greek Prince Paris becomes enamored with the beauty of Helen during his visit to Sparta, and they return to Troy together. However, the anger of those who want chaos to ensue after this passionate love affair continues to follow them. Under the leadership of Agamemnon, the Greek army prepares for war and sets out towards Troy. When Troy ignores all offers to return Helen, a fierce struggle begins between the two sides. The brutality, heroism, ambition, and betrayal of the war turn into a legendary story in the pages of history. In the early years of the war, the Trojans strengthened their defenses to maintain their defensive positions. However, as the Mycenaean forces increased their strength, the direction of the war begins to change. The Trojans are forced to leave their defensive positions and begin to fight openly with the Greek forces. The war turns into a legendary battle full of heroic figures and divine interventions. Achilles, one of the leading heroes of the Greek forces, comes to Troy and joins the war. Achilles becomes the greatest rival of Hector, the Trojan prince, and the two warriors engage in a great duel. In the end, Achilles kills Hector and wins a great victory against the city of Troy. After years of bloody war, the Greeks, who refuse to accept defeat, make one last move. They construct a giant wooden horse, secretly hiding soldiers inside, and present it to the Trojans as a gift. The Trojan people accept this gift with great enthusiasm and begin to celebrate their victory. However, as darkness falls, the Greek soldiers inside the horse open the city gates and allow the waiting Greek army to enter and capture Troy. The city is plundered and burned. This is the end of the war, and Helen returns to Greece. The gods and goddesses intervened at every stage of the Trojan War. Hera, Athena, and Poseidon fought alongside the Greek forces, while Aphrodite, Apollo, and Ares fought for the Trojans. These gods did not determine the outcome of the war, but the legendary aspect of the Trojan War increased its historical importance. Homer's epics, such as the Iliad and Odyssey, show the interactions between gods and humans during the war, demonstrating that the myths and historical facts combined to form the legends of the war. Homer describes the tactics of the war, the heroism and tragedies of the warriors in an epic narrative that details the war. The war described in the epics ends with the powerful walls of Troy falling. However, the true history and details of the war are still debated. Some historians believe that the Trojan War did not happen or was exaggerated, while others believe in its reality based on evidence from ancient sources. The importance of the Trojan War is significant both mythologically and historically. Mythologically, the involvement of gods in the war, the portrayal of themes such as heroism, love, betrayal, revenge, and the emergence of a new civilization after the war are all significant. From a historical perspective, the archaeological excavations of the city of Troy where the war took place shed light on the ancient history of Anatolia. And its strategic location for trade and culture also played a role in the development of Greek civilization. Although the reality of the war is still debated, its mythological dimension and the stories told in ancient sources have become a part of our cultural heritage. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. As always, remember that our learning journey is never ending, and we'll continue to explore new knowledge together. Until next time.